I think we still have to go live on
Yeah.
on the TikToks and the Instagrams. How are you guys? Welcome. Alexis in the house. We are here to celebrate a big deal. So welcome in if you're on Instagram or TikTok. We're so happy you're here. And of course, Facebook and YouTube. Welcome to a big deal. It's 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It's 8 p.m. on the East Coast, and it's super late Europe time. Welcome to the full moon in Scorpio. Lunar eclipse, 5/5, Mercury retrograde, do it to it. Situation. Woo! Hold on to your hats, y'all. You know, this is a big one, and how many of you are new? Wouldn't this be a fun first full moon ceremony? If this is your first, what a wild introduction to the world of ceremony. I'm very excited that you're here. Oh, you are so sweet. I am so happy you're here. Yes, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome. We love having anybody who's experienced or new in our community. Tonight's going to be exciting. I'm going to obviously do ceremony with you. And the ceremony we're doing tonight, if you have the tools for tonight, I'm really excited because I love writing letters and cards. I know I'm super old school that way. I still write notes to people, and I love sealing my intentions and cards and letters and everything with a wax seal. And this wax seal that came with your kit this month is made out of obsidian, which is for releasing and letting go and transforming. So welcome, to all the new folks tonight. We're so happy you're here. But this has a symbol on it that's as old as time. And you know what? Everybody, I'm a historian by training, and everybody argues whose symbol this is. The ancient Greeks argue it was theirs. The Egyptians argue it's theirs. And we're not even going to get into the debate. But the symbol is called the Ouroboros. And what I wanted to tell you about the Ouroboros is it is a symbol of, it's sort of like the endless knot in the Buddhist tradition, the Buddhist symbolism, if you've seen that before. This symbol right here, which is what we're going to be sealing our desires and our energy with tonight, represents the endless return and cycle of energy. So I hope you're ready. If you want to participate in tonight's ceremony, all you need is some paper, a pen if you want to seal with a little wax like we're doing. A candle's nice to have, a perfume so that you can activate the elements of fire and water. And then any stones you want to work with tonight. I'm going to back up the truck for a second and tell you that there's no right and wrong tonight, okay? Everything I tell you about eclipses and full moons is based on my training, my teaching. I've been teaching online classes in ceremony and magic for 12 years. We're turning 12 in 8 weeks. Can you believe it? 10 weeks. So Sage Goddess has been around for a minute. I've been a practitioner since I was in my teens. And I've been trained by people from all over the world in all different traditions, Wiccan traditions, Buddhist traditions, shamanistic traditions, you name it, I've studied it. So, and it is the flower moon, and that just kind of gets sort of in the undertow because we've got the eclipse and everything else overshadowing that. But it is a flower moon. Everything in nature is blooming. So I'm going to tell you this. I don't do a lot of big manifestation work during the eclipses, and we tend to have 4 a year. They come in pairs. We just had one. Tonight is the second, and then we'll have another pair of eclipses in the fall. I don't do a lot of magical work at the eclipse. That does not in any way, shape, or form mean that you should not. If you really feel like, you know what, I appreciate that, Athena, but I love eclipse energy, and I'm going to explain what that means in a minute. I want to work with it. I want to wield it. I know how to work with it. That's my tradition. I want you to honor your intuition. For me, I don't make moon water at the eclipse unless I'm making eclipse water, which is a whole thing we can talk about if you have questions about it. What is eclipse energy? Eclipse energy is kind of like a reverse tarot card. Do you read reverses? It's just a little bit hard to interpret, and it's a little bit harder to direct. The full moon, remember, our ancestors have been celebrating the full moon for thousands of years. Did you know the Aztecs predicted eclipses within hours of our current ability to predict them? The Aztecs, the Mayans, the ancient Greeks, they could all predict the eclipses. So again, this is nothing new. They base their construction in many cases of temples on the eclipses. So what they used to think was, oh gosh, the sun, we can't see the sun, or we can't, they thought something was hidden from their view. And so they made meaning of that. They used to say that the, sun is making love to the moon, or the moon is making love to the sun, and there were all of these different metaphors that they used. For me, what the eclipse is about, and again, this is an eclipse with a full moon in Scorpio, okay, is about revealing what you need to see about people, places, and things in your life that have not been clear to you before. And I don't know about you. I have had multiple instances over the last 2 weeks where I've seen not terrible things, but just truths about situations and people in my life, where little moments where you go, oh. You ever had that happen? Right? You see a post. You get an email. Somebody says something. And you don't have to make big decisions, big changes, big, anything. In fact, I would encourage you not to make big decisions right now based on that information. But it's called discernment. And it's up to you then how you will shift or adapt or amend your relationships and your experiences based on the information that you get. And I've had some moments. So now I have not made any decisions or acted on that wisdom or anything at all. I've been pretty zip-lipped about it, because in most cases I don't need to communicate that information to that person, but it helps me to see the landscape, right? And it's not always bad. It can be good things. It can be you've been underestimating someone for how beautiful they are, and you need to give them more time and attention and love. It doesn't have to be that somebody's deceiving you or somebody's dishonest, but it can be that too. What I would say is trust the universe. I have just learned there is a magnificent, intelligent design behind everything in this universe, and I trust it, even when I don't trust anything else. And so the one thing I do really want to point out to you tonight, a lot of people get into a fear mindset when they talk about eclipses, and especially a full moon in Scorpio, and especially when Mercury's retrograde, and especially when the full moon is at 14 degrees Scorpio, and 1 plus 4 is 5, and we're doing the ceremony on 5-5, and 5 is the number of manifestation and abundance, but it's also the number of change, and sometimes radical change. So a lot of people make a lot of meaning out of tonight and will scare you, right? You've probably seen all the stuff in social media. I actually want to take a positive, uplifting perspective on tonight. Even though I'm not going to work magic, I'm not making moon water, I'm not charging my stones, I just like to sit still during eclipse energy. I just like to sit still. I like to listen. I like to be the witness, the observer during these times. And it makes me wiser when I just pause and just watch what happens. Watch people, watch situations. It's hard as a double fire sign just to sit and watch. Sometimes it's the most magnificent thing you can do. At the same time, and welcome everybody, I'm so happy you're here. Tell me if this resonates with you. Our universe, our energy field, our body is polar, right? We have masculine and feminine. We have light and shadow. We have, full moons and new moons, right? Everything is dual, right? Up, down, in, out, yes, no. Just because we're not working magic tonight doesn't mean we don't have to still think about what's possible. Doesn't mean we still don't do our 5-5 ceremonies, which, by the way, mine is on YouTube and you can watch it at your convenience. It's best if you do it on 5-5 before the end of the day today, and our team will link to it for you. All the while that you're kind of discerning and watching and listening and paying attention, I think you still need to ask yourself, what do I really want? Because the universe is still creating your future in this very moment. Right? You and the universe are co-creating. So we can't just stop here and stop the bus and go, well, here's where I get off or whatever. I guess I'm just not, doing anything now. It's like, no. At the same time, you can be quiet and still. You can also be saying, and I want to step into this energy, and I want to experience this vibration, right? Can you handle that duality? So, and that's exactly what this symbol is. And what we actually did on this stamp, which I just think is so beautiful, we still have some of them at sagegoddess.com, is we did a double Ouroboros. So the Ouroboros is the snake or the dragon eating its own tail, and it represents the fact that it's like a ring, right, or a cup. You know, I was talking to my friend Zena from Magic Hour Tea, who's doing a live ceremony with me next month with our students. We're talking about how the cup, the symbol of the cup, like a teacup, represents infinity, right? This represents that there is no beginning and there is no end. You were never created and you will never really die. This body will wear out, but your spirit will continue. When we wear a ring, it represents the eternal bonds between us, right? When we drink from a teacup, it represents the infinity of the experience of connecting with magic, right? That's the same thing that the Ouroboros represents. When the snake is eating its tail or the dragon is eating its tail, it's that energy, there is really no beginning and there is no end because energy is infinite, right? So I want to invite you tonight in our ceremony. I'm going to do a little guided meditation that I came up with. And I hope you enjoy it. It's not anything I've ever done before. So even if you've been with me for a dozen years, this is something different. I'm going to take you on a little visualization and get you out of your mindset maybe a little bit if you've been like, ooh, eclipse and I don't know. And let's shift the script a little bit tonight and let's look at it from a slightly different perspective that I think is going to lift you up a little bit and help you get excited about the energy even if we're not working it. You ready? So I'm going to burn some white sage. You can burn anything you like. I love copal. We just put a blog post up at sagegoddess.com/blog about the magic of copal. It is one of my favorite resins. You can work with frankincense. You can work with Palo Santo, anything that you love for just clearing some energy and taking a breath. And always just take a little for yourself, right? Just receive. Clear your hands through the smoke. Let the smoke rise between your fingertips. It's a great opportunity just to rest in the moment. Be fully here now. And I always like to tell you, just for the next, 45, 50 minutes, like, let me have you. I will deliver you back safely in one piece. But these moon ceremonies are kind of a gift to yourself. And I would love to transport you a little bit from wherever you are tonight, which could be a place of anxiety or it could be a place of exhaustion or whatever it is, and just take you somewhere else. And I think the more we do that and we tend to our spiritual life, the more our health gets stronger, right? The more we rest better at night and all of the things that we desire. It's almost sunset time, so I'm trying to adjust our lighting here a little bit. So I'm going to let the sage burn. It smells so good. And thank you again for coming. And if you're over on Instagram or TikTok, you're welcome to join us on YouTube or stay where you are. We're live with you for the whole time too. So roll your shoulders back, sit up nice and straight, which allows the energy to flow through your chakras. Remember, your spinal column is also called your central channel where all of your chakras sit. So let's let that energy flow really nicely through that central column. And take a nice deep breath and exhale really fully, just calling yourself into this present time. So I'm going to open our circle as I always do, and you're welcome to open your circle too. Or if you don't have selenite, I do it for you so that you know you're held in a nice tight container. And let's talk to our guides and guardians. It's big energy, but you're an energy jockey. Aren't you? You know how to ride it. Energy comes in waves, right? Right? I mean, literally. It's physics. Energy moves in waves. So we ride the waves. Inhale. Exhale. Yeah, just take a breath. Just be here now. Wherever you are, whatever's going on, just be here now. So we're going to call into the guides and the guardians of the east. Direction of air, clarity, vision. Yeah. We could use some air energy tonight, couldn't we? It's so much water. And we're on that Taurus Scorpio axis. you know, eclipses come in pairs. So it's been this like Taurus and Scorpio and Taurus and Scorpio, which I told you is form and transform, build and destroy. I'm ready for air. So guides and guardians of the element of air, call you in. Lift us up a little bit so we can see from a higher view, right? And then we turn the wheel to the south, welcoming in the guides and the guardians of fire. And here in the south, again, it is transformation, right? Death and rebirth, which is what we're talking about tonight. What needs to go so that things can come? Make space. So the guides and the guardians of the south are going to help us shift and transform in service of our highest good. Come back to your breath. And then turning the wheel to west, calling in the guides and the guardians of the water element. Lots of water element in the energy tonight, lots of Scorpio energy, obviously. But we're also seeing the other water signs too. Lots of Cancer, lots of Pisces. Remember that water is renewal, rebirth. It is the waters of life, right? Also abundance, prosperity, ease and flow. Welcoming in the guides and the guardians of the west. And then we turn the wheel to north, welcoming in the guides and the guardians of the earth element. Thanking them for peace and patience and presence, grounding, protection, stabilizing us. Like I said, we're on that Taurus-Scorpio axis, so we're riding that wave of energy right now. So we feel both, the both and. So welcoming in the guides and the guardians of the north. Then we also see the guides and the guardians of the above and the below, guides and guardians of the spirit element, and guides and guardians of the lower world. The bones beneath us, right? The angels and the guides above us. And welcoming all into the space tonight. Holding an extra tight container at this eclipse portal, right on the heels belting, no less, in Samhain in the southern hemisphere. We give thanks. And together we say, Amen. Aho. So it is. So it is. So it is. Feeling a little bit better already, huh? It's so nice to be with you this evening. So the tools for tonight, let me see if I can show you. We gave you some really cool things this month. This burner is, one of the reasons we chose this is because of the importance of the number 3, right? The 3, like, you know, beginnings and beginnings, middles, and endings. The triple goddess, right? Energy too, as well as in the Christian tradition. Those of you who are on TikTok and Instagram, this is what it looks like. So you put your tea light in the bottom and you light it, and then we have these little wax melts, which is super cool. So I'm going to light my tea light so it starts to burn, and then your wax melts, you have multiple of those. So what's really nice is it diffuses the scent. It's almost like an essential oil diffuser, but it's solid. A lot of you have worked with them from other companies, but we had never made them before, so we were really excited. And then your serpent perfume, I want you to take a moment and just anoint, and I anoint with a spray perfume just by spraying a little bit at my wrist, and then just putting a little bit at my third eye for what I know, at my wrist for what I do, and then a little bit at my ankles for where I go to bless my steps. And this is frankincense, lavender, there's sea buckthorn for healing, and that's specifically for physical healing and cellular regeneration. There's labdanum, which deepens meditation, and amber for harmony and desire and passion. So it's very Scorpio. And then you can watch, and I'll change the camera back in a little bit so you can see that wax melting. But do you see it melting already? And those of you who are on Instagram and TikTok, it's really cool, isn't it? You can kind of see it melting around the edge. I find it very sexy. Okay, so our activity for tonight is this right here. So if you got the tools for tonight, you got these little pieces of parchment that are rolled up with a little seal on them. And our activity for tonight, now you can do as many of these as you want. I always want more of everything in life. I'm a more is more kind of girl. So what you can choose to do is take these and cut them if you are a nice, neat person. If you're like me, you can just tear them in half. I like rough edges. It's very Scorpio of me. And so, you can make 4 if you want, or if you just want to do 2, that's fine too. I want you to think, again, we talked about duality, right? That tonight is not just about releasing. There's a little bit of tower energy in the field right now, but it's not just about that. It's about the things that you need to release at this full moon and this eclipse are things that have been trying to leave you anyway. You know what I mean? It's like, it's really just a goodbye. There's a finality and a closure, I think, to this portal that we're in right now. So it's not like, it's kind of like picking the fruit off the tree that already was ripe anyway. So I want you to write down 1 or 2 things that are ready to leave you anyway. Fear, anxiety, grief, sorrow, whatever it is. And then I want you to write down 2 things you really desire to call into your field so that we can keep co-creating and keep envisioning what we want to create. Okay? So I'm going to write down, I'm just doing single words. I would encourage you to do the same. This is not a novel. You're not writing your autobiography. This is just high level tonight, keeping it simple. What do you want to call in? And then what are you ready to let go of that was wanting to leave you anyway? Keep it high level. Again, we're not writing autobiographies tonight. We can do that later. Now, I love 3. So I'm going to take each one and I'm going to fold the right side in and I'm going to fold the left side in. And you want to leave just a little bit of like a overlap because you want a place to seal it with your wax. Okay? So let's just fold them with a little bit of overlap. And first, let's seal the 2 that we're ready to, things that we're ready to release. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to do this on the camera. Again, if you're on Instagram and TikTok, if you want to see this part, you might just want to go over to YouTube real quick. And by the way, you can always take your perfume and just take a little bit extra and just anoint each one of your little pieces of each one of your parchments. Just adds the energy. So what we're going to do is I want to light my wax. I'm going to be a good girl and do this over some kind of heat-proof surface because I'm just known to drip, drip, drip. But the whole point is to drip your wax. So once it starts to go a little bit, you want to drip it onto your what you're releasing. You guys see okay? What? Nope. Hold on. Let me figure out how to get this so that you can see it. I think that's better. Sorry, I'm trying to do a couple different things here at once. There we go. And you want to drip just enough wax, and it's kind of becomes a meditation. And if you don't have your tools, just watch me do it. You want to drip it in a kind of a singular, I don't know what the technical term is, but a singular little blob. And the reason is you want to keep it melting until you place your seal. And you're just holding your wax stick at an angle. Our ancient ancestors used to seal their contracts, used to seal their letters, right? Their transmissions this way. And then before it dries, you want to take your seal and lay it down. And wait just a minute. Is that the coolest thing ever? I love fire, I love wax, and I love old-fashioned ways of doing things. And yeah, you are so invited, by the way, to write down what it is that you're letting go of that's too heavy for you to carry, and write it down in the feed. Place a comment there. It allows us to hold the space for you. Now you got to keep this thing lit. Get it lit, baby. Light your fire. It's a little easier if you hold it upright until it's really lit, and then you turn it to the side. You gonna stay lit? You gonna behave? Sometimes you gotta stoke the flame a little bit. There we go. You gonna do it? There you go, baby. It's just fun to watch it. Keep it moving. And again, just imagining the energy leaving your field now. We're so ready to let some of these things go tonight. And the eclipse is asking you to do that anyway, and it's asking you to do it with grace, isn't it? As much grace as you can manage. Can't always be graceful, but we try. That's what it looks like while it's cooling. And again, it's nice to have something just to sit your wax in so you don't have to hold it. Just give it a second to cool off. Et voila. C'est ça. And then we're going to take the two things that, again, I'm not doing big manifestation work tonight. It's not my jam. But the two things I do want to have as overarching themes that I keep aligning to an energy that I do desire, because Scorpio governs desire, right? Scorpio isn't just the sting, it's the kiss, right? It's got that duality to it. Scorpios can be very sexy because they're so intense, and they desire, they need, they have a drive, right? And that's what we all find so sexy about them. I have none in my chart, but I have Scorpio envy. Because Scorpios are just magnetic. Y'all are. We Leos like to pretend that we're Scorpio-ish, but we're not. We're not that sophisticated. We're a little more primal. You guys are more mysterious in your ways. Okay, so what am I calling in? Let me just really focus on the energy. And my seal. Boop. And there we are. It's a beautiful exercise in presence, isn't it? It really is. Like, can you be here now? Can you do this work? Can you show up to this moment? Can you release things that already are probably on their way away from you anyway? And can you call in something new that's so radically different, right? And then last but not least, and I think it would be fun to do a little card reading tonight if we have some time, which we might, if anybody's sort of down. Not that you guys are never not down, or ever not down. You're always down. But I think it would be kind of cool. So I am prepared for that too. And again, not taking divination too seriously tonight, just keeping it at the highest possible level so that we're just kind of like listening, but we're not making huge moves or decisions here. I just would not recommend making any big moves right now. And letting that be. That was my last one for tonight. Yeah, Karen's like, we're always down. So my last one for tonight. Take a moment with it. That last one. And we're not really doing huge manifestation work tonight, but just we can be in alignment with a frequency, right? I can smell the oils on my cards. I'm actually feeling like 2 decks tonight to work with. So I'm going to check in with you first and see how you're doing. So how did that feel to write it all down and to create space and to seal it in, right? I did 2 each, Terry, you know, but it's really up to you. I love it. Letting go, calling in, letting go, calling in. Yeah, it doesn't matter. There is no magic number. It's not like, oh, if you write down 2, then it's going to be so much better if you write down 3 or anything like that. The ring on my right hand is one of the monk rings from Sage Goddess, which we haven't had in a while. But it's an old one, and it just was speaking to be worn today. Thank you for asking. Just follow the guidance. Look at that. Sue's like, why not a big move? I'm moving 2,400 miles starting this weekend. Girl. Power to you, darling. Yeah, may it be a good move. I'm really feeling this deck. I've been kind of in love with it recently. It's called the Unshakable Inner Peace deck. I have my own Gemstone Oracle deck that I was going to do. This is from Sage Goddess. We made these like flashcards. They're really cute and fun. I might pull some from there too. Might also pull some Major Arcana cards. We have our own Major Arcana deck at SG. So just while we're in the circle, just for a couple minutes, would anybody like a reading? Just, again, high-level theme. We're not really drilling down. We're not trying to solve major issues and problems and challenges tonight. We're just sensing the energy, right? Okay, so Jackie, with a CQUIE, I'm feeling Major Arcana for you. This is the Major Arcana of the Tarot. These are called archetypal cards that show you higher level energies operating in your life, which is really helpful, I think, at this particular moon phase. So Jackie, let me see what archetype from the Major Arcana is for you. Well, I do love the Empress. I think you do too. The Empress... And of course, the Major Arcana, the numbers are always important too. So make a note of number 3. The Empress energy is all about, it's very much Taurus energy. Scorpio too. It's desire and creation. She's always represented as being pregnant, which doesn't necessarily mean physically pregnant, but it does mean that she's pregnant with potential, right? She's full of life. And the Empress, I mean, she doesn't look uncomfortable, does she? She's in the lap of luxury. She has a lot of symbols around her of love and magic. If you're a life path 3, my daughter is, then the Empress is your card, which sort of means you're sort of preset for ease. You know how to create harmony around you, and it's sort of effortless for you. So this is one of my favorite cards in the Major Arcana, and Jackie, that's the card to guide you. So leaning into comfort, you know, like if your focus has been on discomfort, the Empress is going to tell you to lean more into comfort, which I love. All right, on TikTok, I've got Amy Lynn. Hi, Amy Lynn. So, Amy Lynn Hurst, I'm going to pull a card for you from the Major Arcana. It's kind of fun to be across our platforms really quick. So, Amy Lynn, let me see what Major Arcana archetype card is coming up for you. It feels so right tonight to do the Major Arcana. Amy Lynn, Amy Lynn, Amy Lynn. Another one of my faves. I mean, not that I dislike any of them, but I sure love the High Priestess, and it's fun, kind of fun to teach you too if you're new to the tarot, or tarot, however you pronounce it. Tarot cards are for me, they're almost primal. You know, oracle cards are fun, but tarot cards bring us back to the basics. The High Priestess stands between the pillars, right? Light and shadow, and earthly wisdom and spiritual wisdom, right? And so she represents the ability to sit still in the midst of chaos, which I think is so perfect for this particular full moon and this particular eclipse too. It's like, don't get pulled here and don't get pulled there, Amy Lynn. The wisdom is to sort of sit in the middle, and that's a place of discernment and wisdom. So we love the High Priestess card. Over on Instagram, I've got Julie Becerra who would like a reading, so welcome in. It's great to have you there too. So hi, Julie. Let's see what's coming up for you from the Major Arcana tonight. Julie. Now, the Lovers card's interesting to me. Really interesting to me, because a lot of people go, oh, love, or oh, sex, or oh, whatever, relationship, right? But I don't always read it that way. The Lovers card to me is often about choices. And so, Julie, this might represent 2 things for you. It could mean love. It could mean a physical manifestation of a relationship, but it can also mean divine intervention in your life and wisdom around the choices that you make. And so, I find the Lover's card to be illuminated by the other cards that I tend to pull around it, because if you read it in isolation, it can mean one thing. If the Lover's card is backed up by certain cards like Two of Cups, or reinforcing cards that represent love, or if it's backed up by the Devil card and some, other cards that represent more conflict, then we can see it as a different kind of archetype. So, okay, Anna Kulikowski says, please pick me. I'm Scorpio rising. I will be celebrating 1 year anniversary with my partner that I manifested last year on a new moon in Scorpio. Well, look at you. Congratulations. So Anna, let's see what archetype is coming forward for you tonight. Let's see. Justice. And so when we look at the symbols that the Justice card holds, right, it's the scales, which always represent balance and equality and equanimity, and then the sword of truth, right? So this is about coming to a place of equilibrium. Maybe you guys have been in a certain phase of your relationship and you're moving into a different phase of your relationship. Maybe this is about give and take in the relationship and trying to manifest a different kind of balance or equilibrium between the two of you. You can really, again, depending on the other cards that we would pull in a broader reading, would be reinforced or discouraged based on those cards. But high level justice, the Justice card always for me represents right outcomes, things working in your favor, and also maybe the need to establish kind of a new level or a new layer of balance in your relationship, which is not a bad thing. Christina Hyman, she says, I'm having a total Tower year, which is, we all know what that means, I think. It's a challenging time, so she would like a reading. Christina, I see you. Christina. What's coming up for you? Let's see what's coming up from the major arcana that might illuminate that Tower energy for you in a new way. Now, the Death card does not mean death. Usually, it doesn't mean that. Usually, death means transformation, which is so Scorpio full moon, I can't even, handle it right now. It's like the card of the night. Transformation of what needs to be shifted in order for you to move on, further on your path. And so, it's interesting. I like this card for someone in a Tower year because what it means is you're either mid-process or probably through it now. Right? It's like the Death card comes to tell us the change is underway. It's all in service of what's for your highest good. And ultimately, if you can yield and surrender to that transformation, then you're going to be stronger for it. Even if mid-process, it doesn't seem like that. My mantra is the middle of the way through magic, it looks like a mess. It's when we're on the other side of magic that we can see why things happen. So once you get through a year of transformation, it's like, oh, now I understand why that happened. But when we're in the middle of it, it is just so hard to understand. Okay, let's see. Let me go over to TikTok. Let's see. I see Jason. Oh, Jason wants to know what his sign means, so we can tell you that too. Wendy would love a reading. All right, Wendy. Welcome in. Again, thank you for being on all of our social media platforms tonight. We're so happy to have you, Wendy. Which archetype should you be focusing on at the high level right now? Lovers for you again, which again can mean love, can mean choices in love. So it really depends on kind of what your specific circumstances are, Wendy. But it's always a good card in my opinion because it just represents possibility and potential. And again, that's what we've been talking about tonight, and that we're about to do a little guided meditation in just one more minute. I'm going to pull a collective card, if that's okay. So this is for everybody who's here tonight. That's you, and you, and you. That's everybody who's moderating online at Sage Goddess. That's me too. What archetype do we collectively need to work with or understand better in order to ride the wave of this full moon eclipse energy? For the collective. The Hierophant. The Hierophant for me is such a powerful representation of divine masculine energy. It's also leadership and it can be power. And what's interesting is, but it's accurate power. It's accurate leadership. This is so much also a theme of this full moon eclipse portal, because it's so tied to Beltane in the northern hemisphere, is that we have to decide where our power comes from, what we're plugging into, and we also need to manage the energy in a way that keeps us from being overwhelmed, right? So how do we balance being in power, being our full, true, authentic selves, but not getting overwhelmed by the energy that's trying to come through? So this is for all of us right now. How do we tap into that divine masculine? One of the, for me, what's interesting is, for me, feminine energy and masculine energy, as I taught you in the 5-5 ritual, which again, try to do that tonight if you can. It's on YouTube and you can watch it after. It probably will pop up on YouTube in your feed at some point tonight. We all manifest through the masculine and the feminine. And we're about to do a little visualization, and it's related to this in a minute. The masculine goes and gets and claims and conquers, right? The feminine magnetizes and calls in and receives, right? It's a softer way. The masculine is more projective and the feminine is more receptive, if that's another way of thinking about it. So what's interesting is, because these eclipses happen on these axes, right? There's always two signs involved because it's aligned to the lunar nodes, which is long and complex. But all you need to know about that for tonight is there's not just Scorpio energy in the feed, there's Taurus energy in the feed too, right? Because we have the opposite signs. And so the moon is in Scorpio tonight, but the sun is in Taurus. So what I want you to do is just roll your shoulders back for a second. This is a really quick meditation, but it's an important one to get you into the vibe I was mentioning earlier, which is not just being afraid of what you have to let go, but getting excited about what might be possible for you, and just holding the duality of those two ways of thinking and being. Okay? So roll your shoulders back, have your palms up. It's a nice way of being receptive to energy. You don't want to sit and do meditation like this or cross your arms. You just want to be open and watch your posture. Notice your breath. Take a nice deep breath with me and exhale. And so I want you to imagine, this visualization is based on a place I've been. It's a beautiful remote side of a remote island where there are not very many people. And so I want you to, not going to say details about what, where, or when, because I don't want to distract you, but I want you to imagine that you are in a tropical location and the weather is warm, the air is warm, you can feel the sun on your skin. And I want you to imagine that you are in such a simple place. There's one road in and one road out. So you're just in kind of a quaint, remote, warm, tropical location, and you have nothing to do, nowhere to be. There's no pressures, no hustle, no stress. Let every ounce of stress right now just melt out of your body into the floor and down into the center of the earth. We're just releasing stress from every organ, every cell. Any fears, anxieties, let's just let them all go. They don't serve you anyway. And so I want you to imagine that just off of this road is the most beautiful, simple, one-story little building, little home or sanctuary. I'm going to call it a sanctuary, almost like a temple. And I want you to visualize that on the inward side of that sanctuary is a big, beautiful garden, right? And on the outer edge of that sanctuary, on the other side, is endless beach and crystal clear, very shallow, warm water. So I want you to imagine that you go into the middle of this sanctuary, and if you look to your left, you can go out into earth. You can go out into this beautiful sacred garden full of fruit trees, covered in ripe fruit, flowers bursting and blooming, right? It's the flower moon. Everything's alive. You can just smell the jasmine and gardenia and all of the flowers. And there's fruit on the ground that's just ripe and you can go and eat it. Or you can choose to go to the right and go on this big, beautiful, expansive beach and just walk out into the water and let yourself be enveloped by the warmth of the waves. Very gentle, low waves, right? The water is clear. It's only 2 or 3 feet deep, and you can just walk as far as you want and just be held by it. And I would recommend, just for the next few minutes, just even taking your hands off the keyboard and just bringing them to your heart, or just keeping your palms open, and see if you can really feel into, are you being called tonight toward earth, out toward that garden, or are you being called toward the water, out toward the ocean? And your hands should feel kind of warm. It's one of the ways you know you're running energy, is your hands get kind of tingly, so you should feel kind of warm in this moment, or tingly, or soft. And take a breath there, and don't overthink this decision. If you really just feel like, yes, I want to go to that garden and have fruit and be in the land and have my toes in the grass and just feel the warmth of the earth under my feet, go that direction. And if you really feel called to that water, just let yourself be called, and you don't need a reason why. But I do want you to notice tonight, because this is a huge sign to you while we're on this Taurus Scorpio axis, whether you need to be more grounded or whether you need to move more into flow and release energy. Just notice where you're being called. And if you've been called to the left, I want to bring you into that garden. I want you to step outside of the inner doors of the sanctuary and just notice that that grass is so thick and lush, and it feels so refreshing under your feet. It slips between your toes. And everywhere you look, 2 to 3 feet apart, there's just trees for as far as you can see, and they're all different kinds of fruit trees and flowering trees. And the smell is intoxicating. And I want you to notice the ripe fruit on the trees, and then look down and see the fruit on the ground. If you're really good at visualization, you can imagine going and picking up a piece of that fruit and actually biting into it and feeling the juice of the fruit between your fingers. And just let yourself be kind of immersed in the energy of what it feels like to connect with the earth. And that's going to be that Taurus energy tonight that's beckoning you to stay in your place of creativity and inspiration. Stay in that place of knowing that the earth itself nourishes and nurtures you, and you don't have to earn that or do anything to achieve it. It's just there. It's just always available to you. And it's expansive. And it's beautiful. And then if you were called to the water, I want to invite you to go through the other doors of the sanctuary out toward the ocean. And I want you to notice the same thing but different energy. As far as you can see, it's just wide open beach and there's no one there. The sand is so beautiful and pure and warm under your feet. And again, it slips between your toes as you walk out. And you're not far from the water's edge, and the water just sort of seamlessly flows. The sand goes from like a creamy beige, and the water becomes white, and then a deeper blue and almost a turquoise color as you step out into the water itself. And I want you to feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, and just how peaceful, and all you can hear is the ebb and the flow of the water. And the ebb and the flow is bringing everything you desire, and then releasing and removing anything that isn't serving you. And just in and out, and just in and out, and just letting your energy flow just like the water, gently kind of coming up and then moving back, and coming up and moving back. And just being fully in this moment, whichever element you chose. And now, if you were working with the earth element, I want you to take a moment and consciously receive that energy in your left hand. That's our receiving hand. So I want you to call in all of the energy that you're receiving tonight from that earth element. I want you to call it into your left hand. And the same thing if you're working with water energy, just call all of that water element energy into your left hand. And again, we're not shifting, transforming, directing energy tonight. We're just working with what is, what's already there in the field. In some traditions, this is called unmanifest potential. It's the all that is, right? It's just working in the field. And we're not, again, at least for me at the eclipse, I don't direct, I don't necessarily channel anything specific. I try to just be open and receive. And so we're just calling in, what do we need from earth? What do we need from water tonight, in order to be in greater alignment? And then we'll move more into a manifestation mode in a few days. And remember that from water, what you can receive is calming, healing, abundance, divine feminine, a lot of flow energy, circulation in the body, right? Hydration, which isn't just a physical thing, it's spiritual hydration, it's mental hydration, right? Everything being fluid. And then from earth, what we can call in is stability, commitment, feeling safe and held, right? Nurturing, physical, even physical touch can be an earth element energy too. So we're calling all of that in if you were moving toward earth. And let's just imagine that energy now flowing through all the meridians of the body from the left hand all the way up and around through the right hand. And then you can pull that left hand to your heart and extend that right hand out. And just imagine that you're both receiving and sending these energies wherever they need to go tonight. Again, for the greatest good. We're not directing anything anywhere. We're not pushing the river. We're just in the river. That's how I think of the eclipse. So we're just in the flow tonight. We're not directing it. And a good deep breath there. And bring that right hand up to your heart too. And so let's just ask for guidance, right? Let's ask for wisdom tonight. Great Spirit, God, Goddess, and Source of all that is. We ask for wisdom and discernment at this time when we know that there is intense energy, intense polarity, and for some people, really intense transitions and transformations happening. And so we just call upon you to gift us the vision, foresight, wisdom, and discernment we need to make good choices, to be in the right place at the right time, and to trust our inner knowing, our intuition, which literally takes us back to the Latin. Intuition means inside teaching, right? And we give thanks for wisdom and insight and clarity that's already on its way. Amen, aho, and so it is. You can be called to both. And like Jason was saying, and Jason's Sun Scorpio, Moon Taurus, that, you know what, that really, it's okay if you're flip-flopped, right? Like if your Sun's in Scorpio and your Moon's in Taurus, or your Moon's in Scorpio and your Sun's in Taurus, you're still, no matter what your combo is, you're going to still feel the energy of this eclipse more powerfully than those of us who don't have a lot of activity in those signs or on that axis. Having said that, everybody's feeling this eclipse. It's just affecting people differently depending on their relationship to it, where it's landing in their chart. So it just means it's a little more powerful for you, but it's powerful for all of us. I'll tell you, Jason. You know, like I don't know how you're feeling it or feeling it or receiving it, but it's a powerful one. And we will see what we need to see in perfect time. I wish that for you. All right, so I just want to drum one more time to release our guides and guardians from our big circle. And then Alexis is here with me to show us our tools for next month, but we're not there yet. Oh, did you need me?
No, actually I came up because you had said you wanted to do something at 5:55.
Oh, I do, and I almost forgot.
And it's 5:53, so
it is! Ah! How did I forget?
So you probably have time to drum first, or if you want to do it while the guardians are still here. That's all
I want to do it while the guardians are still here.
Perfect, so I'll pass the tools over to you.
We can keep them there. They're in the field.
Oh, you don't want to like show them or anything?
Well, I can show them. The grid is active, so I wouldn't move it. If you want to hand it to me, we can keep it in place. I activated my grid, so. This is our 5-5-5 grid. Now, in about 30 seconds, I'm going to drum it, and I want you to, if you did your grid today or if you're doing another grid, I want you to focus for the whole 60 seconds on creation. What do you want to create? Only positive, only forward thinking, only keeping the focus for the whole minute from 5:55 to 5:56 on 5-5. What do you want to build? What do you want to create? You ready? And hear us, Great Spirit. Take these wishes and dreams on angels' wings. Manifest them on our behalf. We trust you on timing. You ready? Are you focusing? We're almost there. We're almost there. So much anticipation for this moment. And even if it isn't 5:55 where you are, it is where I am. Ready? Here we go. Focus, focus, focus. I'm gonna go quiet. What do you want? And again, we're just being open to the vibration tonight. We're just visualizing. How do you want to feel? What do you want to receive? And just being open. Not calling it in right now, just being open. And thanks to Alexis.
You keep me around for a reason.
I keep you around for a lot of reasons. Whew. That was a lot of energy. And together we say, Amen. Aho. And so it is. Yeah, baby. We did it. It was so good. Let me not disturb my grid. Grids are important. They're like little webs of energy, so you don't want to disturb the groove. What you do with the paper after you stamp it, the items that you, first of all, it's up to you. And I'm not someone who likes to tell everybody what to do every time, because you have your intuition that will guide you. But what I do is I bury the things I'm releasing in the east. I open the earth, I put them in, and I close the earth. And then the things I'm trying to attract, I put in honey jars. We just made one. Remember? So you can add these to your honey jar, the things that you're trying to call in. So what I'm letting go of, I tend to release. Now you can release it to fire. You can burn those things. That's releasing to an element. You can release it to water. You can go release it to an open body of water. I prefer to bury things. It's just my releasing method of choice. So those are all options for you. And then the honey jar is just a great way, because honey jars are meant to be living vessels. So you can open it, add, close anytime you want. That's what I would do. Okay, you ready? Let's thank those guides and guardians and release them. And thank you for being here tonight. It's always more special because you're here. So thanking and releasing, we always start where we left off. Thanking and releasing the guides and the guardians who are beneath us and above us. Guides and guardians of the lower world and the upper world. Element of spirit. Thank you for bringing your magic. We release you with gratitude. Guides and guardians of the north, thank you for keeping us safe in our ceremony, keeping us grounded, reminding us that all will be well. And we release you with gratitude. To the guides and the guardians of the west, we release you with gratitude. Thank you for bringing ease and flow and emotional healing and renewal. We release you with gratitude. And to the guides and the guardians of the south, thank you for energies of transformation, change. We know it's always for our highest good, for courage, desire, and passion. We release you with gratitude. And last but never least, the guides and guardians of the east. Thank you for clarity and vision, discernment, helping us see what needs to be seen. Even if it's hard, we release you with so much gratitude. Woo! Big thanks to all of the elementals, our spirit teachers in all the dimensions, for always being in our corner. What would we do without them? Good thing is we don't have to know, because they're always with us. So if you would like to join us, first of all, thank you for tonight. If you're on YouTube and you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, because what that will mean is that you'll get more like this. So we'll pop up in your feed, and that's kind of a cool thing. And make sure you subscribe so you get notifications. We do all kinds of fun things. I just recorded a video for YouTube about anxiety and overthinking that I think might be really helpful. It's just a topic that's been coming up a lot in our community. So if you want to see more content and be part of these ceremonies, we would love for you to do that. We also are on TikTok and Instagram if you would like to be with us there too. All things all the time. And then today we have a special code. It's BUCKS, because it's 5-5. BUCKS with a CKS for 23% off at sagegoddess.com. And then our tools. So Alexis is going to come over and show your tools. What I want to show you is that if you get your tools for next month's full moon, which is such a different full moon, it's Sagittarius. We're doing a shamanic journey, totally different vibrations. If you get your tools before midnight tonight, one of you is going to win this wardrobe of jewelry, which includes a Trapeche Amethyst Inner Child. I don't know if you can see that, on a Herkimer diamond chain. And then this incredible Stop You in Your Tracks, all the amethyst all the time, and purple agate cuff.
And it's coming with the necklace stand and pillow, so you can display it.
And you get a pillow. I wasn't sure. And then I totally promised a necklace stand today without really asking, which is totally me. It's a Sagittarius full moon, and here I am, like, breaking the law.
Now next time we give away a necklace, someone's going to be like, but do I get the necklace stand? I'll be like, oh, man.
Oh, she has a tool. Sorry. So she the tools are, what's really cool about this next full moon kit. This is what's crazy. The whole price of the kit is the price typically of one of the wands. And you are getting a sterling silver and gemstone wand, and each one has a different symbol engraved on it, custom made at Sage Goddess. And you can use this to open your circles and close your circles and activate your grids. So we have Kambaba Jasper, Azurite, K2, it's either Azurite or Malachite or both, or Tiger's Eye for lower world, middle world, and upper world with all of the symbols engraved. Then you get the art. You get the candle, Wild and Wise, which is beautiful. We all love it. And you get Wild and Wise perfume. Now, basically, you get the art, the candle, and the perfume for free, because the price of the kit is the price of the wand. And you take 23% off with code BUCKS. And one of you who gets it tonight before midnight will get the whole amethyst wardrobe. And the wands are incredible. I do want to really show you up close. So,
they're so cool.
The Kambaba Jasper. So the upper world is your Azurite. Let me see if I can show you on this camera. And the Azurite is super cool because, or the K2, it's granite, and it's either going to be blue or green. And if it's green, it's because there's Azurite and Malachite, both, which happens on K2 Mountain, which is in Pakistan. It's one of the highest elevation points in the world. And that has your upper world symbol with clear quartz. And then the Kambaba Jasper is your lower world.
That one's my favorite.
My favorite's the Tiger's Eye, but that's Athena's. I mean, it's going to be intuitively chosen for you. And then your Tiger's Eye is your middle world. Isn't that beautiful? It's got the tiger engraved on it with Tiger's Eye. Get it? But do you get it? With clear quartz.
But do you get it?
But do you get it?
I thought it was clever. I didn't do it. I know a lot of you are probably
It's
thinking
very
that
Alexis.
was Alexis. I did not do it, but I
But do you get it?
I'm impressed.
Yeah, isn't it beautiful? And these are all done by hand. This is all 925 sterling silver. This is not like a mystery metal wand. These are sterling silver and gemstone wands. The kit is $89, and then it's 23% off. So normally our sterling silver wands are over $100. So you get the art, the candle, the perfume for free. You're paying for the wand. And the art, oh my God, look at our warrior goddesses of the lower world, middle world, and upper world. This is going on my wall when we're done. I am so in love with this art. And you get this exact size, and it's on canvas. Isn't that cool?
We surprised you with it too.
They did.
There originally wasn't going to be art in this set because we were like, well, the wand is pretty much everything, you know?
It was an extra
and
bonus.
Then I was like, Athena, Bruce, and I did this.
Yeah, you get one wand, Deborah, and the wand itself is worth over $100. And you can put this on Affirm or Afterpay or one of our payment plans too, which is really cool. So sagegoddess.com, your code is BUCKS for 23% off. Your homework is to go do your 5-5 ritual.
Can I ask a quick question before we sign off of the crowd?
Yeah.
I would like to know if you guys want more of these wax melts. I would genuinely like your opinion.
Yeah. Can I show them?
I loved it. It smelled so good when I walked into
It's
this room.
dragon's blood.
And not just these ones particularly, but are you interested in...
It's a genuine question because we don't know whether to make more.
Exactly. Yeah, I just want to know. I mean, imagine all the Sage Goddess perfumes we could make them out of.
Some people really love the wax melts, and we've gotten some good feedback. But if you would like more, we'll make more. It's my favorite art, too. Honestly, one of my favorite pieces we've ever done, so I'm glad you're kind of into it. We think it's beautiful. Okay, the 5/5 link is Team SG will put it in the feed for you. If you go to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/thesagegoddess, or just go to YouTube and search Sage Goddess, you'll find us. It's going to be one of the first things that pops up because it's a recorded ceremony for abundance, and you can do it anytime, but I do recommend doing it before midnight on May 5th, which is today. They do want more wax stamps. That was an affirmative.
Yeah.
That was a yes. That was an over and out. All right, you guys, thank you so much. And thank you, Karen Brown, for being there as always, and all of Team SG behind the scenes for all their work that goes into these, and most of all to you for being there. We love having you at the full moon, even when it's a weird eclipse. I hope I gave you a different take on it that helps you feel more optimistic and more empowered tonight. That was my goal. And have a great weekend, everybody. Cheers.